I feel like I haven't done one of these in a while, and I saw this in my Discord, and when I saw this, I said, I literally yelled out, "Goddamn!" That's literally what I yelled out when I saw this picture. And this is a huge, and that might be an understatement. This is a major drug bust that happened in Arizona. Look at all of this stuff right here on this tables, and the floor. It's probably like 10 tables in there filled with a bunch of drugs. Two of them have firearms on there alone, which is these two right here. But there was basically a major drug bust that happened in Arizona. 4.5 million fentanyl pills and 3,000 pounds of meth and probably some other stuff as well. But those really stood out the most. And imagine having to count out those pills. Imagine having to count all of that out just to get to that. That's a lot of counting. But let me go ahead and get into it. The 10th Police Department Drug Enforcement Administration and Arizona Attorney's General Office shared details on Thursday about a major bust that took 3 years to pull off. An estimated 4.5 million fentanyl pills were seized in addition to 3,000 pounds of methamphetamine and large amounts of heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl powder, according to authorities. Investigators also seized about 50 firearms. This is a significant bust, but there is a lot of this drug coming across the border. It's killing our kids and tearing our families apart in Arizona, but it's also impacting the rest of the country. So we need every law enforcement agency, every attorney general along the border, but also across the country, to be laser focused on stopping this fentanyl, Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays said. While specific details of the operation weren't revealed, authorities staged the scene Thursday with displays of the drugs seized. Approximately 138 kilos of cocaine, 66 kilos of fentanyl powder, and $2 million in cash were taken during the investigation. The drugs have an estimated street value of $13 million, according to the DEA. More than 150 individuals have been charged over the course of the 3-year investigation. Mays called the Sinaloa drug cartel out by name on Thursday, saying they are evil. Her remarks came as the Biden administration sanctioned key members of the Sinaloa cartel who provided chemicals for their labs. In addition to sanctioning the two brothers running the network, Ludin Zamudio Lerma and Luis Alfonso Zamudio Lerma, the U.S. Treasury also designated 4 other Mexican nationals and Sinaloa cartel members, as well as 6 Mexico-based companies, CNN reported. President Joe Biden promised strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking during his recent State of the Union address. I mean, it's a real Herculean challenge from both sides of the border, says Iowan Grillo, one of the Arizonian official trying to find ways to take on the Sinaloa cartel. Grillo is a long-term journalist in Mexico covering drugs and organized crime. He said the Sinaloa cartels targets cities as hubs to mass distribute fentanyl. Phoenix, Arizona is one of those hubs. So it's a place you bring in drugs from Mexico, from Sonora, and they'll be bought into safe houses in Phoenix and then go into other places. DEA Special Agent Sherry Oz said they have a plan to take out the biggest cartel operatives. We're looking at taking out the worst of the worst, and we're focused on that regardless of where that person is located. Grillo said it would be challenging to stop the cartel. You kill 100 people, there's still probably 100,000 cartel operatives here in Mexico. So you're not going to change that, and most of them are hidden in cities, towns, and houses and moving around. You're not going to take out the cartel that way, so it's a very big challenge. The cartel is much more cautious in carrying out murder in the U.S. rather than in Mexico. There is a certain the violence could go up in the United States, or they could even be a response to law enforcement. But that would be a game changer if that happened. Another tactic Grillo said he has seen in some states is charging dealers with murder if they sell fentanyl to somebody that results in their death. That is a bill currently making its way through the Arizona legislature. As of Thursday, the proposal passed out of its first Senate committee could be heading to the House soon. Thursday's news conference came just hours after another major drug bust was announced at the southern border and along I-10 between Phoenix and Tucson. In total, troopers confiscated an estimated $9.4 million worth of drugs, approximately 1,500 pounds of meth, fentanyl pills, and cocaine over the course of 4 days in that operation. Now, that was just a separate operation, separate from this one. So it seems to me that Arizona, the state of Arizona, is a drug highway, so to speak. It's a drug highway. And you would think that that would be happening more so with Texas, considering Texas is a lot closer to the border than Arizona is. But maybe that's just the route that they decide to take because it's going specifically to some place in Texas. It's not it. Or they'll get turned around going through Texas, or Texas might be a little too obvious. But that's crazy. Like, I'm sure as y'all was listening to me reading this, y'all looking at all this stuff on the table, trying to think like, how in the world did all of this get transported? This was stuff that was transported in to the state of Arizona. And they pretty much, they said it took them 3 years. 3 years to gather all of this. Like, really think about that for a second. It took them 3 years to get all of the stuff you see on the screen. And this is most likely not even everything. This is just what they could fit in the frame. I mean, you have stuff from here, here, here. These are the firearms here, here. You got stuff on in those bins on the floor. You got stuff on, it's another row back here, here. You have stuff right here against the wall. Here is literally a mountain of drug paraphernalia. The drugs heavily outweigh the firearms, as you can see. That is insane. I don't know if I have any subscribers who live in Arizona or are familiar with the Arizona landscape, but can y'all give me some more information about this right here? Because I'm sitting here thinking that Ohio is the hub for heroin, but just by looking at this, I think Arizona might have them beat. And based on what I've read, they might be the new hub. But that is insane. Now, one thing I didn't see in this article is them saying that this was enough drugs to take out millions of people, because you know they love to over exaggerate it when it's black people. But I didn't see them say that this was enough to take out millions of people. This probably was enough to take out damn near the whole state, if you think about it, because it says 4.5 million fentanyl pills, 3,000 pounds of meth, cocaine, heroin, the cash. I mean, well, you ain't gonna get high off the cash. I mean, that's just something, that's just money. But still, they didn't say that this was enough to take out a whole block. This is taking out a few blocks, many blocks. Throw this up in the air and explode it, it's gonna be something. But that is insane. But one point that the person made in the article was about the cartel. It's hard to take them down. It's way too many people. They said you think you got them when you take out 100, but then before you know it, 100,000 pop up in their place. So it's like you have to be strategic when you're going after them, because they always have new people in position to take on a task that either they can't handle, or for them to pick up the slack if somehow they get caught. People think that, oh, because they got El Chapo, that was the end. No, you just got one of the bigger ones, but it was far from over, because I'm sure there's others out there that's going to be able to, try to take his place. And this is another reason why they want to close off them borders as well, because of stuff like this. It's not just immigrations or immigrants coming over here. The immigrants coming over here could very well be people that are involved with this, so that could be easier for them to plant themselves here. But that's not the only reason. It's because this, as you can see, with them borders completely open, they're still able to get this over here. But even with them closing the borders, they'll still find an underground way to transport the stuff over here. This has been going on for so long. It's a tale as old as time, as far as I'm concerned. And it's a tale that's going to continue to carry on as far as time continuing to go forward.